Marcus Webb had a gift, not for flying ships, not for diplomacy, and certainly not for knowing when to keep his mouth shut. His gift was surviving things that should have killed him, and then making a joke about it afterward. Today was no different. He was floating in the wreckage of his scout ship, one hand pressed against a gash in his suit, the other gripping a flickering emergency beacon. Around him, the debris field of what had once been humanity's forward observation post drifted silently through space. The Vithara attack had lasted 11 minutes. 11 minutes to reduce a station of 400 people to floating metal and memory. Marcus had survived because he'd been in the bathroom. Classic Webb, he muttered to himself, saves his own life by having bad timing and a weak bladder. The beacon pulsed. Somewhere out there, someone had to be listening. They were. The ship that dropped out of FTL was nothing like anything in the human database. It was massive, angular, and dark as a collapsed star with lights running along its hull like veins of cold fire. The tractor beam that caught him was gentle, which surprised him. He'd expected to be scraped up like debris. Instead, he was carried into a pressurized bay, his suit scanned, and the tier sealed by some kind of automated system before he even had time to panic properly. Then the door opened. She walked in like gravity had a preference for her. The Harathi were squat and rock-skinned. The Felori were squat and rock-skinned. The Phalori were translucent and floated. But this species, whatever she was, looked like someone had taken every human idea of imposing and made it biological. Nearly 8 feet tall, her skin was deep charcoal gray, with streaks of bioluminescent silver running from her temples down her neck and disappearing beneath her uniform collar. Her eyes were solid white, no pupil, no iris, just a faint glow that shifted when she looked at things. She had 4 fingers on each hand and wore the kind of expression that made junior officers cry during inspections. The rank insignia on her chest meant nothing to Marcus, but the way every other alien in the bay stood straighter when she entered told him everything. She stopped in front of him and looked down. Way down. Human, she said. Her voice was low, controlled, and carried the weight of someone who had never once in her life been told no. You were found in the debris field of the destroyed human post. You were the only survivor. She stared at him. Sorry, he said. Trauma response. I make jokes. It's a medical condition. You are injured? I've been worse. You have a fractured clavicle, 3 cracked ribs, a punctured suit that was seconds from catastrophic failure, and your oxygen levels suggest you are approximately 4 minutes from losing consciousness. She tilted her head slightly. And yet you joke. 4 minutes is plenty of time, Marcus said. I once defused a bomb in 2.5. Something shifted in those white eyes. Not amusement, exactly. More like recalibration. I am Commander Sureth Val of the Cathiran Sovereignty, she said. You are aboard my vessel. You will be treated and then transferred to the nearest human outpost. Sounds great, Marcus said. Thanks for the pickup, Commander. She turned to leave. Called after her. She stopped but didn't turn around. Seriously. Thank you. You didn't have to stop. A long pause. No, she said quietly. We did not. She left. Marcus stared at the ceiling of the medical bay and decided that for once in his life he would stop talking and let someone else have the last word. He lasted about 45 seconds. The next 3 days were strange. The Cathiran crew treated him with professional courtesy and zero warmth, which was fine. He was used to being the odd one out. What wasn't fine was the battle that found them on day 2. The Vithara, the same faction that had destroyed his station, had apparently decided that one surviving human wasn't enough. They wanted him back. Or dead. The distinction wasn't clear. What was clear was that Commander Sureth Val's ship was fast, lethal, and operated with the precision that made human military coordination look like a group project. Marcus watched the engagement from a sealed observation bay, completely useless, which he hated more than the danger itself. During a particularly violent evasive maneuver, a conduit blew in the corridor outside his bay. Fire suppression failed. The door sealed automatically, trapping him inside with rising smoke and dropping oxygen. He grabbed the emergency kit from beneath the medical bench, found a rebreather. Farity, 17, from beneath the medical bench, found a rebreathe, and then spent 20 minutes manually rerouting the fire suppression system through a panel he definitely wasn't supposed to touch, using nothing but a multi-tool, 3 years of engineering elective courses, and pure stubbornness. By the time the door opened, the fire was out, the system was functional, and Marcus was sitting on the floor, covered in soot, eating a ration bar he found in his pocket. Sarith stood in the doorway. She looked at him. then at the panel, then back at him. How? She said. I had a good professor, Marcus said. And nothing better to do. She crossed the bay in 4 steps and crouched down in front of him, which was the first time he'd seen her at eye level. This close, he could see the silver streaks in her skin move, slowly, like something breathing beneath the surface. You repaired a Catheran fire suppression relay, she said, without training, without documentation. Without documentation. I mean, I probably broke 3 other things in the process, Marcus admitted. Full transparency. Her white eye searched his face for a long moment. Why? Because it needed doing, he said simply. She stood, looked away. Her jaw tightened briefly, and then she said very quietly, as if she hadn't meant to say it at all, your station. The 400, were any of them your family? Marcus was quiet for a moment. All of them, he said. That's how it works out here. You're in space long enough, the crew becomes family. You stop remembering what home felt like. Sareth said nothing, but she didn't leave, either. What about you? Marcus asked. Big scary commander. You got people somewhere? Catheran commanders do not maintain personal bonds, she said. It compromises operational integrity. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard, and I once watched a dog miss its owner for 6 years. She looked at him sharply. It's a human story, he said. I'll tell you sometime. There will not be a sometime, she said. You will be transferred at 0800 tomorrow. Right. Marcus nodded. Right. She left again. This time, he didn't call after her. 0800 came. The transfer shuttle was ready. Marcus stood at the docking bay with nothing but a borrowed jacket and his multi-tool, which Sareth's crew had let him keep after the fire suppression incident, apparently as either a reward or a warning. Sareth was there. He hadn't expected that. You came to see me off, he said. I came to ensure the transfer was completed properly, she said. Sure you did. She looked at the shuttle. He looked at her. For what it's worth, Marcus said, you've got an incredible crew. The way they moved during that engagement, I've never seen anything like it. You should be proud. Something flickered across her face. I am, she said, and it sounded like the first genuinely unguarded thing she'd said since he arrived. Marcus picked up his jacket, took 2 steps toward the shuttle. Stopped. He didn't know what made him say it. Stress, maybe. Sleep deprivation. The fact that he had absolutely nothing left to lose. You know, he said, not turning around, I've been transferred, reassigned, and left behind more times than I can count. Never bothered me before. He paused. Bothers me now. Silence. Guess you're stuck with me forever would have been a better outcome, he muttered, more to himself than to her. Sorry. Joke. Trauma response. Medical condition. He started walking again. Webb. He stopped. Her footsteps were nearly silent, but he felt her presence before she spoke again. Close behind him, her voice lower than he'd ever heard it. In Catheran command doctrine, she said slowly, a warrior who repairs your ship survives what should kill them and speaks of your crew as if they were their own. Is not a stranger. Marcus turned around. Those white eyes were steady, unreadable, and completely focused on him. What are they? He asked. A long pause. Bound, she said. To the commander. To the she. P. Her chin lifted slightly. To me. Marcus stared at her. Are you saying what I think you're saying? I'm saying, Sareth said carefully, that if you were to remain aboard it would not be irregular, by Catherian doctrine and by Sareth Val doctrine. The silver streaks beneath her skin brightened, just slightly. Yes, she said, forever. Marcus looked back at the shuttle, then at her. I did fix your fire suppression system, he said. You also broke the secondary coolant relay and the auxiliary lighting grid. I told you. Full transparency. He dropped his jacket back on the bench. So what happens now? Now, Sareth said, and for the first time, something in her expression softened into something almost warm. You learned to stop breaking my ship. And if I can't, then I will be very irritated, she said, forever. Marcus laughed. It echoed through the docking bay, and he caught 2 of her crew members exchanging a glance that looked almost like relief. All right, Commander, he said. Guess I'm staying. Guess you are, she said quietly. Later, much later, when the ship was running silent through deep space, and Marcus had somehow become a permanent, unofficial, entirely undocumented member of a Catheran command vessel, He sat in the observation deck and watched the stars blur past. Sareth found him there, which she did sometimes, though she always had a tactical reason ready if anyone asked. "You never told me the dog story," she said. "Sit down," he said. "It's a long one." She sat. And somewhere between the stars and the silence, two people who had both forgotten what belonging felt like remembered.